Hello, I'm Emma Hammett, the founder and CEO of First Aid for Life and onlinefirstaid.com and the author of the award-winning book, Burns, Falls and Emergency Calls. Today I'm going to just briefly give you some tips to survive your office party and to make sure that you have a really good evening for all the right reasons. In a recent survey from the National Accident Helpline, they said that 40% of people had admitted to having either a hugely embarrassing or a nasty accident at the office party, and that's just the ones that have admitted to it. So sadly, certainly having sat on the tube recently, there are an awful lot of people who are drunk pretty early. And it's not all about drink and alcohol, although that is part of it. And it's a matter of being in a different environment and being out social, in a social side with your work colleagues. And the alcohol most definitely reduces inhibitions. And even if you're not drinking, the people around you who might be will be behaving differently as a result. And things happen at office parties that may most definitely not be appropriate in a day-to-day work environment. So just remain dignified, don't act and assume it's okay to be too touchy-feely if that isn't your work environment. And remember, you have got to face them again on Monday morning. I'm going to focus now just on alcohol in particular. Alcohol reduces your inhibitions. It makes you more vulnerable. Remember, it is possible to get your drink spiked, whether you're at an office party or whether you're just out and about having a nice time with your friends. And I know that from experience. My niece, who's at university, she had her drink spiked and she was vomiting blood. And it turned out that somebody had thought it was okay to put ketamine, bleach and cocaine into a total innocent party's drink. So it can happen, and she's very with it. So she is not someone who would be ditzy and leave her drink alone without realising it. Someone just took advantage of a moment where she wasn't concentrating. So please be aware, it does happen, and it happens surprisingly regularly. So make sure that you're not leaving your drink unattended, and that you're looking after other people as well. So some people might not be as streetwise as you. So just keep an eye on everyone and look after yourself. Look after your possessions as well, because pickpockets. The instance of those goes up as well at this time of year because people don't tend to be as aware. They're quite often carrying a little bit more money around because they might be buying impulse buys. And generally people are just out having a nice time, which is how it should be. But just keep an eye open. Aside from the office party, if you're out on a blind date or something, a lot of bars are now operating a system where if you feel uncomfortable and you've got yourself in a situation and it doesn't feel right for any reason, you can go up to the bar and there is some sort of a code word. So a lot of bars, certainly the All Bar One bars and quite a few of the others have signed up to the Angela side. So if you feel uncomfortable, you can go up to the bartender or any of the members of staff and you could say, is Angela here? And that's a code word that tells them to be very discreet and to call you a cab and get you out of there and make sure that everything is handled very discreetly and fine, and your safety is the most important. If you have somebody that has drunk too much, they will be very vulnerable. So make sure that if they are unconscious from alcohol, that you check that they are breathing. And if they're unconscious and breathing, you put them in the recovery position quickly. And this is even more important if they are vomiting. You need to ensure that their airway remains clear, and you need to keep checking their breathing. If you are seriously worried, you should phone an ambulance. If you are pretty sure it is just alcohol and they are groaning and moaning and they're likely to come around fairly soon and you are comfortable looking after them, then you can do that. But if you are worried for any reason whatsoever, then phone an ambulance and we will look after them. If you have been drinking alcohol, you are more prone to hypothermia because the alcohol reduces your ability to keep yourself warm. So what tends to happen is people feel a bit woozy, they go out for air, and if they collapse when they're out there and they're not found quickly, that's when they can get seriously ill from hypothermia. So make sure that you are with someone if they go out, and if they are feeling really bad, you bring them into the warm, and you look after them. If you're worried, you get medical help. And if they have banged their head and they are drunk, they should be seen by somebody, because it is really difficult to assess medical symptoms and whether it's a head injury or the alcohol or what's going on. If they've had a serious head injury and they have been drinking, then get emergency services to help. If they are aggressive or they don't want help or whatever, and you honestly feel that they should have help, then you can phone for the emergency services and just explain the situation, and they will come and sort it out. So don't put yourself in a situation of conflict, but if you seriously want to make sure that they're okay, then that is another way of doing it. And don't forget, when you're going to your office party or going out for a Christmas evening and Christmas drinks, make sure that you've made plans to get home and get home safely. I hope that's been helpful. That's Emma Hammett from First Aid for Life and online firstaid.com.